Hey guys, what's up? What's up? Listen, I don't know, I guess I was just walking and I was thinking about how not long ago, like, my life was so drastically different. So, if you guys don't know my story, in 2017, I lived in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I was a single parent, two kids, and I lost my job. And as soon as I lost my job, I was I was homeless. Like it happened within a week. And the reason it happened so quickly is because I was already behind on my bills. And so I remember getting home that day and this was 2017, so only just about 7 years ago, a little less. I remember getting home that day and then on the door eviction notice. So the eviction notice in Louisiana is like, hey, you have 5 days to vacate the property. And the sad part, that wasn't the first time I've seen an eviction notice. I had seen several eviction notices. I would get them all the time. They didn't bother me at all. And because usually within like the 7 day period, I could have a talk with the landlord. I could get some money, right? And they would be okay with that. But this time was different. Uh, this time I had no money. I had no way of getting money. I had no money. I had no money saved. I had no money invested in anything. I had nothing. So my entire life was tied to my paycheck. And when I lost that paycheck, I lost my entire life. And so that's why I get on here day after day, all the time. And I say, guys, listen up. I know your job, for most of you, is your only source of income. I'm not telling you to quit it. Keep it as long as you need it. It's better to have it than not have it. But at the same time, if you allow that job to be your only source of income, then that's going to corner you and put you in a financial prison cell. It's not going to look like prison, but it's damn sure going to feel like prison. Reason being, you're going to find out the hard way that number one, like the great philosopher Chris Brown said, these jobs ain't loyal or something like that, right? And he was right. He didn't say that, but if he would have said it, he would have been right. And these jobs are not loyal. You should know now, after going through COVID, that they will straight up fire you, straight up close your department, straight up move on from you, straight up cancel you. They've even created a new corporate word to fire you called furloughs. I've never heard of this. I thought a furlough was a flower, some type of plant. That's a furlough plant? No, furlough is is a you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. And people started getting furloughed. It's pretty quiet out here. Nobody's out here. The dog park's empty. Usually there's dogs all in the park. And so I'm walking today. I'm out by the lake. I like to come spend some time out here and have a blast in the neighborhood. But listen, not long ago, I couldn't live in places like this. I was homeless. And so in 2017 shows you how quickly things could go down, but also how quickly things could go up. And for a lot of you, you got to understand life's not against you. You're probably making a lot of bad decisions the same way I was, but it's not always your fault, because I'm not a guy who takes excuses either, because I don't like to make them. I don't like to take them. But a lot of times, all the time, we're born into situations we don't get to choose. So there's never been anybody who was ever born in this world who got to decide where they were born and who were their parents. So we can't beat ourselves up about that. But as soon as we get to like a certain age and a certain point in our lives, all right, now you're responsible for your own decisions and your own well-being, right? And so for me, I was born in a very, very poor household, single parent. My mom, who's in her 60s today, 8 kids, boys in one room, girls in the other. So it was 3 girls, 5 boys, and we lived in a very poor neighborhood. We had no money, no abundance, no lack. I'm sorry, no abundance. It was all lack. I always say, man, you want to know if you're poor? You really want to know if you're poor? Listen, if poor people help you, you are really, really poor. And we were poor. We had, like I said, no money. There were times when we went months without utilities. So my first time being homeless, I was in high school, my senior year at that. High school, I remember I remember my freshman year in high school. I was going to school. I had been wearing these shoes all year. We had no money. And the shoes, true story, God honest, true story, because I wouldn't make it up if it wasn't true, because it wasn't fun. And sorry, guys, I don't know if you guys can hear all these airplanes going over, but we're probably 5 miles from DFW Airport in the neighborhood we live in. And I was I was a freshman in high school, right? And so you want to look good, feel good, represent yourself well, and it didn't happen that way. I was a freshman in high school, and I remember like the only pair of shoes I had for the entire year started wearing down. It was a big deal when I was in high school to, like, after Christmas, you got to come back looking fresh. You got to come back with some good gear. You got to look good, right? You got to look legit. And it just wasn't happening for us. So we'd always end up in fights. We'd always end up suspended. We were always in trouble because people would talk about our clothes, make fun of us, and then we didn't know what to do. So we just our problem resolution was to get into fights, and we were always in trouble. Up there's somebody with the dog. We were always in trouble, always fighting, and that's just the way we were. And my shoes started falling apart. So the sole of my shoes started like peeling away from the base of the shoe. And I went home and I was like, Mom, I'm going to need some shoes. It was like the back of my shoes are literally falling out. Like my foot's literally about to hit the ground, right? So I'll show you guys. And let's see. So I got some shoes on now. Now that my wife's talking about buying a Tesla, I see Teslas everywhere. What do you call that? Is that like selective something when you see what somebody's always talking about? So these are my shoes now, my walking shoes. And all of this, like the bottom right here, all of that was falling off, and it was kind of like my foot was here, the bottom of my foot was here, and the sole was leaning. So imagine this part just falling off and leaning. And I went home and I was like, Mom, my shoes are falling apart. They're literally falling apart. And she looked at him and she was like, son, I'll take care of it. And so I go to bed that night. I'm excited. I'm thinking, man, my mom's going to buy me some new shoes. I know it's not going to be anything crazy. But hey, if I could get some good shoes, I'm good, right? And the irony is that K-Swiss was popular back in those days, and I just happen to have a pair on now. So, and I always wanted them when I was young. And so I'm like, all right, we'll go to bed. We'll wake up in the morning. Bet I got some new shoes. So my brother's in there. You know how brothers are. You're not going to have new shoes. Your shoes are falling apart. And these are my brothers now. And we were fighting at home. And so outside of home, you stood no chance. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, I got to get these shoes. I mean, my mom's going to buy me some shoes. So in the morning, I'm going to look good. So I get up the next morning and I go and I'm like, Mom, because my mom used to leave like snack money out, change, like 50 cents, something like that if she had it. That was rare. But if you saw it on the sofa, that was your 50 cent. Go to school, you could buy some M&Ms or some candy for recess. And so I'm sitting there, I get up and I'm like, oh, here we go. So I get up, go in the morning, I'm excited, got my clothes, and I go to get my shoes, and I'm like, Mom, where's the new shoes? And she was like, what new shoes? And I was like, Mom, whenever you told me, when I told you shoes were falling apart, I can't wear them again. I'm a freshman in high school. And my mom was like, she was like, boy, the shoes are good to go. That's how my mom talked. She was like, boy, they're good to go. Ain't nothing wrong with those shoes. And I'm like, okay. So I go to put the shoes on, and the sole is no longer dropping off of the shoe. And I'm like, okay, like, I don't know what you did, but you fixed my shoe. And this is a sad true story, and I'm gonna share it with you. But my mom, while I was sleeping that night, because we couldn't afford anything else, my mom took super glue and super glued my shoes back together. Now, if you want to know if you're poor, if you want to know if you're in a position where you're really financially in trouble, if you are super gluing your shoes, you're in a bad place. And right now today, my mom's in her 60s, and my mom had 8 kids, buku grandkids. But my point is this: my mom never put herself in position to be financially successful. The more kids she had, the more the government paid her. Now I know kids have to eat, so I understand that. Don't starve the kids. Give the mom the welfare, the whatever you got to give her to feed these kids. It's not the kid's fault. But it was never incentivized for my mom to do for herself. And so here today, me and my brothers and sisters, we help her, right? But my mom could have been in a totally different position, which would have put me in a totally different position. Maybe I wouldn't have been homeless if I had known how to go out and make money for myself. Now, I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying, maybe if I knew some things or some certain things, I would have done things differently, made different decisions. But fast forward, here I am, 2017. I got no job. I got no money. By the way, guys, if this is good, if this is giving you value, the only way I know is you either comment or smash the thumbs up. If you have a question, if you have a comment, you're welcome to drop it. Just let me know, or smash the thumbs up so I can know that this is good for you guys and helping you in some way. Because the only reason I'm telling these terrible, sad stories that I experienced is just to be able to help you and to give you, some of what I've been through, so that you guys don't always have to go through that. So did you know that it's a myth that you have to learn the hard way? Did you know that it's a myth that you got time? You don't. You don't have time. Whatever you want to do in this life, you do it right now. You're in a position where you can make a mistake, fall down, lose everything, and get back up and get it. One day you won't be able to. One day you're going to fall down. You got to stay down. Do everything you can while you can. These are valuable lessons I learned. What do? We wake up, we chase money, we give everything we got to these jobs. We jump on the highway on Monday mornings, risk our lives because we're running 5 minutes late, zooming in and out of traffic. I see people do it all the time. And I go, there's somebody who's got to be at work. Well, I'm going to get my coffee. I don't have to be at work. But that person is not only risking their lives, they're risking other people's lives because they need to be at work on time, because that's how they make money, right? And so if you are always in the habit or in the mindset, and I got to get walking again. But again, what a beautiful, beautiful day out on the lake, man. Just a beautiful day. Y'all don't even need to see me. It's just the neighborhood itself is so awesome. But in our struggle life, it's almost daycare time, so I got to get to the daycare here in front of me. So I got to walk down the street and get the kids. Now, the truth is, it's money, because when I was chasing money, look at where I ended up. I ended up homeless because my focus was always on chasing money, because I thought that the way to get money was to trade time for money. That's not true. If you want to find poor people, find people who focus on trading time for money. If you want to find people that's in a struggle life, find people who work hard. Because we've been lied to, I've been lied to, you've been lied to. You don't have to work hard to be successful in this life. Where is that a law? It's not a law. You do not have to be out here hustling and grinding. I just left the lake over here. The birds are out there feeding. Not one of them are hustling and grinding. Right? Not one. There's no law that says you have to hustle and grind to be successful. There's no law that says the only way you can make money is trade your time for money. There's no law that says you have to work hard. There's no law that says that you can't be financially free. There's no law. Nobody's against you. Nobody's holding you back. The only person who's doing it, look in the mirror. There they are. And you got to address that. You got to stop taking your own excuses. You got to flip your mindset and say, hey, look at my results. Something's wrong. The way I'm thinking, the way I'm going about doing this, something's wrong. And so you've got to put yourself in position where you can change everything. Because the harder you chase after money, the poorer you're going to become. And you, please don't make the mistake of thinking every time I say poor, I'm thinking about money. There is something that is 1,000,000 times more valuable than money. You know what it is? Time. Time is the most important, most valuable thing. How much is time? You cannot put a price on it. There's not enough money in the whole world that can buy back your time. I'll prove it to you. If somebody wrote you a check for $1 billion right now, and it'll cash, it's Bill Gates wrote it, so you know it's good, right? It ain't gonna cash if I write it. But Bill Gates writes you a check, $1 billion, good to go, got your name on it. All you have to do is go and cash it. The catch is, as soon as you cash it, you die. That's the catch. Now, Who's going to cash that check? Nobody. Because all of us know, without even realizing it, that time is way more valuable than money. Well, if that's the case and that's true, and I think we all agree that it is, then why are we willing to sell it to the highest bidder? Why are we willing to give so much of it away? You literally, I've done it, you've done it, take 40 hours out of your week, allocate it to a job who doesn't pay you what you deserve, really don't deserve you, right? Mistreat you, ignore you, fight against you for a $1 raise, which is what? I don't know, $5,000 a year, that's it. Or $2,000, something like that. Fight against you for a raise, and you're willing to commit 10, 20, 30 years to that job, you gotta be some kind of out of your mind. Are y'all tracking? If y'all ain't tracking, you're lacking. You gotta understand that. And that's not where you want to be. You want to be in a position where you control your own finances, because if you can control your own finances, you can control your time. So when I tell you that it's not about money, yes, money is important, but more important is the time, right? So if I showed you, just hypothetically, let's say your job paid you $5,000 a month. That's it. Not a lot, not going to make you rich, but they paid you $5,000 a month. And then I come along and I said, hey, I'll show you how to make $5,000 a month without having to go to work and use your phone, right? Hypothetically. And I can do this, by the way, right? And so now what? Now you got a choice. Because if you go to the job, you're going to make the same $5,000 I can teach you to make. But the difference is it's going to cost you 40 hours a week over there. It's going to cost you maybe 4 hours a week over here. Which would you rather have? 5,000 and work 4 hours a week, or $5,000 and work 40 hours a week? Come on now. This is easy math. I told you it ain't hard. The mathing on this one, Taraji. And so, but again, if you have the mindset that in order to be successful, you got to trade time for money, you're always going to be chasing money. You're always going to be behind. You're never going to get ahead because you're working with a limited resource. That's time, until you figure that out, that, wait a minute, one day I'm going to run out of this stuff. What am I going to do now? One day I'm going to be tired. One day I'm going to be sick. One day I'm not going to feel like doing this job. How do I make money? One day this job ain't going to feel like doing me. And now then what? Right? I told y'all I was close to the daycare. You can hear the kids out there. See? My son's over there playing somewhere. I got to pick the kids up. But again, I was homeless in 2017. And then in 2020, we moved from Louisiana here to Dallas, where we are now. And in Dallas, I started my own business from my phone. Didn't even know what I was doing. First year made $77,000. And that did one thing. That showed me that I don't have to go to work to get paid. And so what did I do? I was like, man, if I could do $77,000 from home and I barely even know what I'm doing, what would it look like if I turned up a little, if I got a little better, I paid more attention? And then I started promoting the business more and more, telling people about what I do. And then the next year, I made 125. So I'm going up. Still got the numbers in my Stripe account because I like to track my progress. And this is not a brag. That's not why I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand that the only thing that changed for me is I decided I wanted my time back. I decided that I realized that, hey, one day I'm going to die. I'm not going to be here. Even if I live 100 years, it ain't a long time. I'm going to be dead a lot longer than I'm alive. And I said, all right, so if anything happens, what can I do right now to get my time back and to leave my family in the best position? I can't pass down my job to my kids. I can't pass down my credit score to my kids. Right? And so started my business grew, made a little money, but most importantly, I was free. And so I'm telling you guys all this to say this one thing, that if you continue to chase money, the harder you chase money, the faster money's going to run away from you. Because in order to get it, you're working with limited resources. But the minute you settle down, rethink, reshift, refocus, and say, all right, let me put myself in a position where money chases me. Let me build a business where customers are going to chase me to pay me. right? And that's what I want to teach you guys. Now, I know this is not for everybody. And I always say this, if you're not willing to put in some work, because this ain't the lottery, but if you're not willing to put in some work, then you don't need to be in my live training. So I got a free live training that's coming up. If you want to get an invite, just write the word middleman in the comments under any of the videos. If you get the invite, you're invited to be there. Just come early, because I want to do Q&A and I can't let everybody in because last time there's too many people and I didn't get to get half the questions answered. So I don't want to go through that again. Get there early. If you don't get an invite, that means I'm full, and good luck to you. But again, I'm just going to teach you 3 things: how to book, deposit, and dispatch from your phone. I'm going to teach you to build a business using your phone, same way I do, so you can enjoy life the way I do. I'm going to teach you to build a business from your phone. You're going to use your phone to find customers, get paid by the customers, and then dispatch the work to other people. And that's all I do. I've been doing it for 4 years. I'm on pace this year to do $350,000. I'll show you in my Stripe account when I get there, because I don't make this up. My first year, 77 grand. I wish it was more. I wish it was $1 million a year, but it's not. But still, as long as it's enough to pay my bills, and I don't have to go to work to pay my bills, I'm free. I can't go buy the Lambo. I got you. I don't want that. I could rent that. I don't need that. I can't buy the $1 million house. Well, I probably can. But, well, my wife and I, we're building we're going to be starting on the build of our dream home. But again, that having my own business made that possible. So that's how easy it is. But you got to be willing to put in a little work. Trust me. Let me teach you. And I'm gonna be there with you every step of the way. I got students who took the training. First deposit's $250 deposit. First month, anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. I got a guy down in Louisiana where I'm from. His middleman company is doing $4,500 for the first month. Come on, that's not gonna make you rich. I know, but I ain't on here promising to make you rich. I'm promising to make you free. I don't need you to be rich. You don't have to be rich to be free. You don't have to make $1 million a year to be free. I know that sounds cool, but most of you can't manage 50,000. I'm just keeping it real. So if I could teach you how to make 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month, no, that's not going to make you rich, but it's going to make you free, because if you don't have to go to work to pay your bills, you are free. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, you are free at last. So learn how to do this. I'm telling you, please don't miss this opportunity. Put middleman in the comments. You'll get the invite if I got spots left. And do it quickly so you don't get left out. Free live training. Just give me about an hour. I promise I'm going to bless you. I'm going to do everything I can to change your life. Be there. Don't miss it. Put middleman in the comments ASAP. And it's family time, so I got to go. But again, this is what I get to do all day long. I do work on my business, maybe an hour or two a day. It's not hard work, just mostly posting. You guys post anyway and don't make money. May as well make some money. I see Teslas everywhere. All right, I got to go, guys. Have a wonderful, blessed day. If you have a question or comment, you're welcome to drop it. You're welcome to email me, middlemanceo.info@gmail.com. If you guys want to get the link to the live training, go ahead and put the word middleman in the comments. And only for those who are serious. I'm not somebody who's going to drag you and pull you across the finish line. That's not me. You got to be willing to put in a little work. But hey, look, if you could spend 6 months, a year building something for yourself, you work 40 hours a week making other people rich. Come on. You're telling me you can't work an hour or two a day making yourself wealthy, making yourself free? I'm just saying. Guys, peace. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Tell somebody about the channel. Hit subscribe, thumbs up. And I'll see you guys in the training. Put middleman in the comments below. Get that invite. And I'm going to see you in the training. Peace.